Imagine, if you will, a soldier so devoted, so fiercely loyal, he refused to surrender, even 29 years after the war had ended. Meet Hiroo Onoda, the last soldier of World War II. Trapped deep in the jungles of Lubang Island in the Philippines, Onoda was the embodiment of the Bushido spirit, bound by duty, honor, and unwavering dedication to his mission. He staunchly dismissed leaflets announcing the war's end as enemy propaganda. Even the pleas from his own family, broadcasted over loudspeakers into the wilderness, fell on deaf ears. Onoda, the ghost of a bygone era, continued his one-man war, undeterred by the passage of time. In an unparalleled twist of fate, it wasn't until his former commanding officer, Major Yoshimi Taniguchi, journeyed to the Philippines in 1974 that Onoda finally laid down his arms. Imagine his shock, stepping out of the shadows of his jungle hideaway, to find a world he hardly recognized.
This is the moment in March 1974 when Lieutenant Hiroo Onoda finally walked out of the Philippine jungle. 29 years after the end of World War II. For nearly 3 decades he had resisted all attempts to persuade him the war was over. Leaflets were dropped from the air, messages broadcast over huge megaphones, all to no avail. Finally, his wartime commander flew to the Philippines, walked into the jungle, and ordered Lieutenant Onoda to surrender. Many years later, he explained why he'd resisted so long.
Every Japanese soldier was prepared for death, but as an intelligence officer, I was ordered to conduct guerrilla warfare and not to die. I had to follow my orders, as I was a soldier.
In Tokyo, Lieutenant Onoda was met by huge cheering crowds, and at the bottom of the steps, his elderly father and mother. The last time they'd seen their son, he was 22 years old. Now, he was 52. Onoda's surrender made headlines around the world, and he was welcomed home as a hero. But the Japan he returned to had completely changed. The emperor was no longer the god that he had promised to die for, and Tokyo had become a massive metropolis of 20 million people. He didn't like it at all. A year later, he headed to Brazil, where he bought a cattle ranch. But he came back to Japan often, and at 90, he was still teaching school children his secrets of survival. Lieutenant Onoda was the last relic of another age. To some a fanatic, but to many more, a hero.